Well, hello everyone. My name is Elad Schanin. I'm the founder of CRC Media. Usually I'm behind the scenes, so it's a weird concept for me to be here in front of you, but I'm gonna give it a try. CRC Media is a boutique creative agency. We create cutting-edge videos and presentations, virtual events, commercials, IPO roadshow videos, and anything basically with moving pixels. And just before we dive into the content, I just want to show you a little bit of what we do. So yeah, it's been a very long ride for us. We've been in New York City for more than a decade. We have teams around the globe producing content. Most of it is B2B, basically helping brands to tell their stories from small startups to Fortune 500 and 100 companies. A lot of known brands, some of them when they just start, and we are very proud to be with them, when they are small, with only 10 or 20 or even sometimes five employees. Then they grow, and sometimes they have we work with companies with like 5,000 employees, 6,000, etc. So everything was going amazingly. And then you probably heard about the thing COVID happened. So suddenly around, I guess, January or February, we start getting a lot of cancellations. So usually we will have a very busy year. We will have a booking, a few months in advance, and out of nowhere, COVID-19 arrived, and we had to reinvent ourselves a little bit. So what do you do? How do you still stay busy, help our clients tell their stories without obviously putting anyone in risk? So obviously we had to learn pretty fast how to deal with COVID, still to be out there, still to go and film and do what we love, because at the end, it's not like a 9-to-5 job. It's something, me personally, that I love. And a lot of my colleagues are also amazing, creative people that just love what they do, from cameramen to editors to directors, producers, animators, designers. It takes a village to do a good content. And even though COVID and virtual world has joined our life, content is still key, meaning you cannot just hope that people will come to you and say, this is great content, I want to follow you, or I want to join you, or I want to invest you, or I want to buy your product. You have to create cutting edge content. And whenever you share something, that's it, it's all. You need to think about what is next. So during COVID in New York City, we had basically to get some certifications for COVID officers. and we did that, and we just made sure our sets are safe as possible. But at the same time, we realized, those giant events that we produced in the past for 5, 6, 10,000 people are not going to happen anytime soon. So we had to reinvent ourselves. How can we still create high-end content for the brands that still need to basically feed their clients with content? So we pretty fast, around March, I believe, we came out with few kits. Okay, so each brand, each city, as you know, each state, each country has totally different set of rules. Okay, and then also individuals feel different about, am I letting someone into my house? Am I going to the office? So we had to be very creative about how are we going to keep on creating content. So the first option was do-it-yourself kind of home studio kit, okay? And basically we start shipping a lot of those rig lights with, sometimes with the camera, sometimes without, with a placeholder for a phone. And we took some technology that MSNBC, CNN, and those guys are using, and we just basically took over the cameras of people's phone or laptops. So that at least gave us the options of still seeing or being there on the set. So the quality is much better than Zoom or WebEx and all those other, again, great solutions, but the quality and directing was key. Many times we received content that wasn't usable. No sound, no video. Someone is taking a video of themselves behind a window. So we just had to try to control the environment as much as we can. Wasn't easy, but it was doable. And, we could do a lot of things if we send a backdrop or even green screen and then animate it and do some kind of interesting composition. But whatever we did, we always tried still to send a one-man band team. Even one person can do a lot, where you will be able to a fancy 4K, 8K cameras can do a lot of things. So then we can build a green screen, a widescreen set, and then we can create those virtual sets around them. So it was really important that we will still keep that option. Again, not everyone were open to it, but we wanted to make sure we offer. By the way, feel free to ask any questions throughout the presentation. Again, I'm usually on the other side, so I prefer that you guys will speak rather than me. And then the next option was to set it up in local studios. So that's something we can build in our brand's offices, or we can take it from different places and just build it virtually. So there were many, many options, but our favorite option is basically to start creating those virtual sets, right? So, and in order for that, we start using the same animators, the same designers that we used for all the motion graphics, and then we gave them the challenge to build those impressive sets. And this is all, it's important to say, this specific is pre-recorded content, right? It's not something that you can do live on the fly, because you need to work really hard to design it. And then suddenly, even someone we will film on a green screen in their house or in a studio, we can bring them into New York City, or we can bring them in some kind of Guggenheim museum style, or basically we had no limits. We wanted to create as many virtual sets, and all we needed was to film that person on a green screen. Okay, and that was we found it a little bit more doable, to be honest. So we start doing those a lot and create those cutting edge, interesting presentations, and then the clients will play them on their platforms. And the engagement was much higher than just another regular Zoom event where the highlight was that someone used a virtual background. And again, don't get me wrong, it's still great, but it's not as actually filming and creating a high-end content that will be interesting. And just I want to show you, just you will understand the process. Basically, what we do, we literally we need to film on a green screen the person, right? So the first process is to find a space that we can do it. We feel you need a lot of lights to make it look good, to separate the background. Then we clean the background that you want basically to be able to create a composition where the object stands in different places around the environment. And then you build the environment. You want to build a 3D model that you can still create the different angles and make everything feel like it's surrounded the subject. Again, just to see Zoom talking head, it's gonna be very boring. So we kept on looking for ways that we can still engage the audience with telling the story. So even, you know, where will you put the presentation? Like if it was in person, right, we will have a giant screen in the background. We will have sometimes a 100 feet by 20 giant LED wall. So how do you still create this effect to make the presentation stand and be like a wow thing? So here you can see how we play with the 3D space, right? And over there, the back, the white space, and that's where at the end we're gonna put the presentation. That's obviously needs to be designed. It can be a regular PowerPoint or it can be something more interesting than that. And here you see basically after cutting the character from the green screen, we superimposed it in the 3D space that we created. And then we obviously, I don't know if you guys are familiar with After Effects, but everything you do is heavy duty rendering that you need to create. And at the end here, you're gonna see the space that we created using those things. These are on the left and on the right is the PowerPoint and the imagery that we use to do all of those experiences. And here in a second, we're gonna press play and you're gonna see how the rendering looks. Here you go. So you see how we made the subject, the talent, the keynote speaker. We basically set it up like nothing here is real, but we make this presentation much more memorable. So that was our goal. Everything we did in the past few months, we had to be extremely creative. We did many things that we didn't do in the past, and that we had to reinvent ourselves and stay positive. But at the same time, we saw that a lot of things are still possible, and we found the right way to still keep our clients engaged by creating new videos, new content, and anything that will still be engaging and interesting, because everyone were home, right? So the brand still had to speak to their clients and to say, how are you doing? And this is why we're still relevant to you. And this is the content. This is how we want to share. And video is taking a huge part of it, right? From videos, from Zooms, from virtual events. And if you want to create a cutting edge presentation, something memorable, you cannot just go the typical way and just prepare a presentation for 2 minutes and press play. You have to think what would be the most interesting concept that will engage your audience and make it memorable. While I do hope that we will meet all our clients and our crew around the world very soon, we still have to keep in mind that COVID is probably not going to go away anytime soon. So we are prepared and ready to go with any any kind of production, and we basically plug in all our fancy 4K, 8K cameras. We plug them into a streaming device that our clients can be sometimes not on set with us, and they can be home or wherever they are, and they can be there on set with us and direct the show. So we making sure that we are there for them, and basically just coming up with new ways that will help them deliver their content. And pretty much that was my 15 minutes. So I would love to know if any of you have a question. You can open your mic, you can share it in the chat box, whatever is easier for you. And I will put this slide anyway. If any of you have a question or need a technical assistant or looking for a cutting edge creative execution, we are based in New York City, but again, with teams all around the world. Last week, we filmed in Oslo, Cyprus, Tel Aviv, and of course, New York and New Jersey. And my email is here. Our website is crcmedia.com. And that's it. So I'm opening the floors for questions. And the first time, do you think that this style of virtual keynote presentation will still be important after COVID? And it's a great question. While I do think COVID eventually will go away, and we know for sure that people won't jump on airplanes as they used to. We used to go to Vegas and West Coast once a month, and or sometimes even every other week. And I'm sure those giant event spaces won't be back. Again, I'm assuming not before 2022, but obviously there are professional people that's what they do. And they know better than I do about the COVID situation. But I think virtual is going to be with us for a long time. And I think you have to keep up with the production value to make sure you deliver different experiences than your competition. You cannot just do, again, let's do a Zoom event and then think about it as free, right? Zoom is free. So let's say you invested and you have something bigger, but no, you want to do something like this platform that we are meeting at. We have to think about how to keep our audience engaged. Do you do any of this work live, or is it all pre-recorded? We do live as well. We have basically, we built some live switching stations in New York, in Long Island actually, where we can switch between speakers. And we have also, you can set up a studio. You just need to make sure you have a very high bandwidth fiber connection, up and down with redundancy. And we've been doing a lot of live as well. You cannot do those animated, fancy virtual live, but you can do it if you play the presentation, meaning you create a 3D presentation, but then the speaker speaks live, and then you need to put it like in a split screen or something, but you cannot render it in real time. Next one, I'm assuming that the virtual content was built in Unreal or Unity. What challenges have you had finding talent to understand some of this new technology as it's still relatively new, and how have you overcome those challenges? So actually we created everything in 3D Max and After Effects, Adobe. I am not familiar with Unreal or Unity. I heard about them, but I never had to play with them. So all the work that you saw here was done in After Effects and 3D Max. And it's what I find amazing. It's the same team that does our animation before. We just had to reinvent basically what are we using, what kind of content we're creating and for what platform. So instead of 30 seconds commercial, now we need to put a 30 minutes interactive presentation. And instead of a 2 minutes product demo, now we have 20 minutes of 5 people from Europe US and Asia speaking together live, and we need to come up with a composition that will still be interesting and relevant. But again, I'm going to my main point, content is key. Are companies adjusting quickly to this new style and they find it works for their needs? Some companies do adjust into it quickly, but some companies are still waiting that something is going to change. You know, some companies book their event space for the next 3 to 5 years, right, all around the world, and suddenly they had to cancel it. So they don't understand that they can still deliver high value by doing it virtually, and also reach many more people that in the past didn't travel because it cost a fortune from the airfare to lodging them, eating them. So companies didn't send their employees to those events. But suddenly as a brand, you can reach so many more people. So the possibility is huge. And some companies are still behind, that they are hoping COVID is going to go away really fast, and they see as the presentation, as virtual, as something that, I don't know if it's free, but they don't invest anything with creating the content. They say, hey, Zoom is right, I can just press camera, video, share screen, that's it, I'm live. Did I plan this presentation? Did I design it? Did I make sure the content is relevant? Did I do a rehearsal? Did I send my keynote speakers a light, a rig light even, or test that they know how to use the computer, how is their bandwidth? All those things are, and some people think about it as for granted. So we have to make sure, and that's part of what we do. We help companies produce their events on hopefully on a much higher end, and they can do without them. What is your greatest expense with making these presentations? I guess it's the production side, meaning the set. You know, it can be a very expensive studio, and the animation time. You know, it's animation and design. It's by shifts. You know, sometimes we need a team of 10 people working for 30 days on you know, 3 days presentations, just because it takes long time to compose. And when you do live, obviously the platform is something that is very important, and always pay attention to it, like this great platform. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's usually not our role, but so in our case, it's the production and the animation. Again, I'm going to put here my contact info. I think we have 3 more minutes, so I don't know if you have any more questions for us. Unfortunately, we don't have all our presentations up live because many times it's internal or only for some clients, so not everything is public. But if you're interested to see like a reel, or if you have any specific needs, we'll be very happy to hear from you guys. And again, content is key, and we can make each one of those presentations much better. And then just to, you know, at the end behind us, right, we have our life, right? We have our families, we have the craziness of every individual. And when we put together presentation, we need to think about the 3, 2, 1 action, right? And everything needs to be perfect. And this experience that you are creating, this is what your clients will remember. And this is what you need to focus about, and to think what will be the best experience to make your brand memorable. And I think we have 1 more minute. So if you guys don't have any more questions, thank you very much for attending this event, this session. Again, I'm usually from the other side of the cameras, so it's pretty new to me. But I appreciate you spending the time here with us today. And that's it. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the show.